In today's video, let me share with you where to invest in property to give yourself the greatest chance of capital growth over the next 5 years. Hi, my name is Tony Law from Your First 4 Houses, and my channel is all about helping you replace a job-based income with just a few properties so that you can give up the day job if you wish and go and do something more interesting with your life. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So when it comes to capital growth, I personally believe supply and demand is everything. More demand in relation to supply, well, prices go up, don't they? Less demand in relation to supply, well, prices go down. So the question is, where can you expect to find more demand over the next 5 or maybe 10 years? Well, I think the first thing that should be right at the top of your list is looking for those prime areas for regeneration. And often these are specified in the local plan for your area. This is Bristol's local plan, for example, and in here it will lay out exactly where the council is wanting to regenerate, where they're going to be spending huge sums of money bringing a given area up. Now obviously, if you can base any of your investing inside of that area or maybe on the periphery of that area, you're naturally going to stand the greatest chance for capital growth over the next few years when they start the regeneration process. The next key tip is to look for new big employers that are going to be moving into that area. Now I'm sure you've probably heard in the news how Amazon are investing lots and lots of money in new call centres, in new warehousing, in distribution centres, etc, etc. And obviously this all means new employees moving to those areas, but the banks are also doing it, call centres are also doing it, and of course the really big one is free ports. Now, if you're not aware of what a free port is, can I suggest just a quick bit of Googling and you'll come up with loads of information on it. But all of these types of places are going to give you new big employers that are going to be moving into those areas. More employers, greater demand, greater potential for capital growth. The next one is looking for new transport links. Now, new transport links can be small or large. It could be just simply a new bus route. It could be a new road. It could be a new train line. It could be HS2. It could be an airport expansion or whatever. But wherever you see new transport links going in, it's going to mean more people are going to follow, hence more demand. The next one is an interesting one, and we've seen this really clearly as a result of the pandemic, and it's this shift in home preferences. Lots of people are making the choice, they're choosing to move out of city centres, more on the periphery of towns, or of course they're really taking the leap and moving out to the countryside, which is why some beautiful parts of this country in the countryside have seen huge uplifts in capital growth. I honestly think that home working is going to give you real potential for capital growth over the longer term, because I will always fly the banner for working from home, because I guess I've always done it, to be perfectly honest with you, and it just kind of makes sense in my opinion. But home working can be in HMOs, it can be in flats, or it can be in grandiose houses. But looking at the smaller side of things, honestly, I think HMOs, where there's the potential for home working, is a huge thing for professionals, I hasten to add. Flats, again, if you can get a flat where you can kind of incorporate some space, some home working space, doesn't have to be a separate bedroom, but just somewhere where an office can be set up, and you make that clear that that is the home working space, I think there's going to be more demand for that. The next one actually is an interesting one again, and it's actually increasing population. Now it sounds really obvious that. The problem that I have with it is determining areas where there's an increased population. Because to be truthful with you, it's really hard to find the statistics for it. And by the way, past trends in terms of increasing or declining population do not automatically indicate future trends. So when you go to research this stuff, often you'll find the data is from 2017, 2018, etc. Well, that doesn't really help you when you're trying to consider what's going to happen in 2025, does it? By the way, if you know an up-to-date way to accurately determine the growth or decline in the population of a town, I'd love to hear about it. I really would. Please comment below. My seventh tip is all to do with controlled supply. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's lots of ways that the council in particular controls the supply of properties coming out there. Probably the most well-known one is obviously Article 4. And when we as property investors think about Article 4, let's be honest, it's normally in association with HMOs, isn't it? So where you're investing in properties in an Article 4 area, or rather HMOs, obviously that's going to mean there's a reduced supply or a controlled supply, which is going to mean greater potential capital growth. But where this gets exciting is when you look for areas where there is no Article 4, but it's about to be brought in. Honestly, you've got to look for those opportunities, because as soon as Article 4 comes in, supply is controlled, capital growth is going to go up. Now, I will always maintain that cash flow should come before capital growth. Why? Well, cash flow gets you out of the day job. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing my coaching calls, people want to get away from their work, or at least have the choice to get away from their work if they want to do so. So I think cash flow comes first and capital growth comes second. But if you can find a great mix of both of those, isn't that the ultimate? Isn't that the ultimate thing? So you get your cash flow, but you also have good potential for capital growth. And that's why I do think you should really focus on those types of things. By the way, can I encourage you to check out this video here? It talks all about the differences between cash flow and capital growth. But more importantly, it gives you the strategies that work for cash flow and the strategies that work for capital growth. And it will really help you to determine exactly what you should be focusing on.